Frankie Widows here from Eyelash Excellence, and in today's tutorial we are going to be doing lash mapping. I'm going to break this down for you. I'm going to make this so easy for you. Anybody can do this, and I'm going to show you the 4 most popular styles, which are Dolly, Rounding, Kitten and Cat Effect. And like I said, I'm going to break it down and make it so simple that you won't be able to believe that actually it really is that simple. So if you do like this video, don't forget to let us know that you've liked it, because then we know that we're actually delivering content that really helps you. Also, don't forget to subscribe and check out our other videos, because we've got a ton of other videos to assist lash artists that are both new to the industry and more experienced. So very quickly before we jump into that, I just wanted to show you what we do have available on the shop to make your life so much easier. We have these packs of lash mapping guides. There are 14 different lash styles per pack, and there are 24 pairs of lash pads or mapping guides per sheet. They come in classic lengths and they come in volume lengths. So what's the difference between the two? Volume tends to have much shorter lengths used, or shorter lengths in the inners and outer corners. So if you do struggle with lash mapping, you are going to have every single lash map available out there to you on these pads, and they come in white and they come in blue. So sometimes people find that they have clients that have got very translucent lashes, as such they need a blue backing, and these are going to really assist you. So we have white with red lines and we have blue with red lines. So please go and check these out. These are going to last you forever if you get them, because like I said, we've got so many different styles in there and 14 different sheets per pack, so absolutely jam-packed. So this tutorial, like I said, is a lash mapping tutorial, so it's just going to show you the most popular lash map styles. However, when it comes on to eye styling, when we are able to look at our client and then figure out what we think is going to be the best style to suit them, that is a completely different ball game. And to be honest, it really does require you to take a good course in it, like I have done when I was new in my career and over the years, to ensure that not only could I produce great lashes, but if I can't style that client correctly, whether I'm doing classic or volume, I'm never going to be able to produce a nice looking set. So we do have those available on the website. If you're looking for sort of styling ebooks or styling courses, I'll put links in the description under this video so that you can go and take a look at them. So first of all, I always like to mark the pupil on my model, and you can see that I've got 2 dots here on the eyelid. Now this is done with the eye open, because what happens when the eye closes, you will find that the pupils will actually move inwards towards the nose. So if you think the pupil is set right over the middle of the eye when the eye is closed, you are wrong. And what will happen is you'll put a dot here like I used to do, and when that person opened their eyes, everything moved outwards, and my kitten would look more like a cat effect and my rounding would look more like a kitten effect. So always sit that client in front of you, mark 2 dots on their eyelid where their pupil is. I use liquid eyeliner because it's very easy to get off. Also, there's no cross contamination when I put a micro brush in there and then I dot it where I want it to be. So now we have these 2 marks, I always know, like I said, where that pupil is going to be, and I can work my shaping around that pupil. So I'm just going to show you a visual image here of the 4 different effects that we're going to do today. We're going to do Dolly, we're going to do Rounding, we're going to do Cat, and we're going to do Kitten, and in no particular order. So first of all, we're going to do the rounding effect, and this is where all of the height is over the middle of the eye. Now, I absolutely love this style to bring the eyes closer in together, because any height over the middle will bring the eyes closer in together. This also works really well on your mature clients, because their natural lashes are very fine and delicate in the inner and outer corners. So the short lengths that we use here will help to protect those delicate corners. It's great on a client that has quite a heavy hood, because all of the height that we're going to have over the middle here helps to disguise that heavy hood. And it's also great for opening up that eye. So if you have a little bit of a droopy eye, this really helps. And actually, this is a style that I quite like to wear myself, and it's a style that we see quite a lot at competition level when I'm judging. So first of all, I'm going to do this on one eye, and obviously you'd mirror it on the other. It just means that I free up this pad here that we can then do another style on there. Now this is a really simple way to do it. This is not how I do it myself, because I know how to lash map now, but this is how I'm going to teach you how to do it to make your job really easy when you start to understand the shaping of the set. Now I want you to put a cross where you want all of your height to be, and with the rounding effect, it's like a semicircle shape. it goes up and it comes back down. So technically, if you were to split the eye in half, you would pretty much mirror what you've got on this side as on this side. So if you draw shaping in your set, this is going to help you first of all to figure out what your shaping needs to do. Like so. Now, if you actually looked at this with the eye open, it would look more of like a semicircle, because actually your cross would end up being here with the eye open. But with the eye closed, this is going to move slightly more into the nose. But what you actually want is when the eye is open, this pupil will have moved outwards a little bit and you'll get this semicircle effect. So now that you have this cross, this is where your longest lengths are going to be. So let's say we decided to use a 12mm on this client. We can actually start mapping our set and put our longest length here as a 12mm. Let's say I was going to use a 7 in the inner and a 7 in the outer corner. I've then got to fit my lengths in here. So for example, we haven't got a lot of space here to get an 11, a 10, a 9, an 8 and a 7. So let's keep everything really small. 10, 9. My 8s and my 7s are going to be a little bit wider lash zones because they're short and they can fit in there nicely and they'll look nice. So when we distinguish between short lengths and long lengths, that's when we get shape into the set. If I started these inner corners at a 9mm, it's going to look pretty much that you've only used one length in the eye. And this is when it starts to drag the eye down, when we don't have short lengths used. By having short lengths in inners and outers, you get that lovely lift and height that you just don't get when you just use a select few lengths in your set, and it just makes the eye, like I said, look like you've used one length, and actually it drags the eye downwards. So now maybe we're going to go to a 7 on the outer corner, like I said, so we can put an 11 in here, 10, 9, 8, 7. Always keep your zones that are near to your longest lengths short. So again, a little 11, 10 a little bit bigger, put a 9 in here, an 8 and a 7. Now when you actually open the eye, this will actually stretch out and it will look like it is a half moon shape. So something like this, it actually looks a bit like a reverse kitten effect when the eye is closed. But if you don't believe that this is actually what the eye does when the eye is closed, give it a go and see, and don't make the mistakes that I used to make, which was mapping the eye with the eye shut, and then when the eye opened, my lash map had actually moved this side. So something like this is going to be your rounding. So I'll start with a 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. And for me, by doing those little steps like that, helps me to physically see what my shaping is doing. So let's say we wanted to do a dolly effect. Now a dolly effect is where we use a lot of height throughout the main bulk of the eye, but we still start very short and we still finish very, very short. So it's going to be something like my main height is going to be here and my main height is going to be here. So my shaping is actually going to go so like I said, the main bulk is through this middle section here. So really, you're going to have a lot of one length in your set if you think about it. All of this could be one length. Let's go, for example, let's do 11 for this. Here, that's all going to be one length. And then maybe we're going to start at a 7 again. So we need to get a 10, a 9, an 8 and a 7. Always keep your zone next to your big zone quite small. 10, and again, let's put a little 9 in there. 9, 8, 7. And again on this bit, little 10, little 9, little 8, little 7. Now when your zones are very, very tiny like this, sometimes it can actually be difficult to read your numbers. As long as you know what your lash map is doing, it doesn't matter. So although those are a bit fuzzy, I know that that is a 10, that's a 9, an 8 and a 7. And again with the inner corner. Now sadly a lot of people when they do the dolly effect, they literally start with one length here. So they'll have like one length across the whole eye. Please don't. Whatever you do, you need to have what we call transition zones. So even if you had a very, very tiny zone that only had 2 extensions of 8mm in there, you've got to have it in there. You can't jump unless you're doing a bespoke, let's say staggered set. Do not miss lengths in your set. I see people doing lash maps of 8, 10 and 12. Well, what happened to the 9? What happened to the 11? You're then going to get jumps in your set like this, whereas we want a seamless blend. So by having even the tiniest zone, like I said, like 2 extensions of that length as a transition zone, is always going to give you a nice top line blending effect and not the steps that are going to look unnatural, because natural lashes don't have very obvious steps in them. They tend to blend. So again, like I said, we've got the Dolly effect here. We start very short, 7, 8, 9, 10. Most of the height along the middle, 11. Of course, that could be a 12 on there if you wanted longer, and you'd have to fit more zones in here. And then we drop down 10, 9, 8, 7, like so. Again, always have very short inners and outers. On some of my clients, I'm even dropping down to a 6. And actually at competition level, we're seeing 4mm in the inner corners and 5mm on the outer corners. And it looks absolutely stunning. So for those two, we have the rounding and we have the Dolly effect. Why do I like the Dolly effect? It can look quite good on a client that has actually quite a fresh face, like a doll's look about them. You have to have a client that's actually got quite strong inners and outers, because you've got quite a lot of length going on here. So this is why the rounded effect works better on mature clients who've actually lost that strength in their inner and outers. So if your client's got strong inners and outers, this is going to work. It's actually quite good for opening the eye up. So if you've got actually quite like a narrow sort of squashed eye, this can actually be a really good effect to open that eye up. And some people just like a lot of length. So some people, if they could, would have one length of the inner to the outer corner. Obviously we don't do that. We always start and finish short, but this is going to be a great effect to assist them in getting that desired look. So your next effect is going to be your kitten effect. And this is where you have most of your height towards the outer third of the eye, or where the brow tends to peak on your client. So with this effect, I actually mark the pupil and I mark the outside of the iris, as this is going to show me where my peak is going to be, that's going to sit underneath the brow. So to assist you, you could put 2 crosses, one here and one here, and then you know that this is going to be your longest length, whatever it chooses to be, because actually your shaping is going to be something like this, which is actually going to look like a rounding effect on a pad, but actually remember that the eye will move outwards. So in reality, when the eye is open, it's actually going to come more out here and be like so. So let's say this would be a 12mm. We decided to go 12 on this client. If we wanted to go to inner and again start on a 7 and finish on a 7, we could again put a little zone in. Always have a little zone next to your big one. And again, another little zone, 11, 10. Put a little 9 in there, 9, 8, and 7 that we've got here. Again, a little 11, a little 10, a little 9, bit of a bigger 8, and then we've got our 7 here. So like I said, although it looks like a rounding effect, it will actually move outwards when the eye is open. The kitten effect is such a great effect for everybody. If in doubt, let the kitten out. It's what everybody does with their eye makeup most of the time. They actually make their powder come out here like a sort of a uplifted wing. It suits most people's brows these days, which have like a nice peak on this bit here. It's just such a popular style. Again, it's what we see at competition level on most clients. One thing it doesn't work on though, if you've got a client with a very, very severe hood, do not use the kitten effect, because where the height that's here covers this hood, it does nothing to cover this bit of hood here, and it makes this bit of hood stick out like a sore thumb, and I think it makes them just look very, very puffy in that area. And again, I learnt this the very, very hard way. So that's where you'd probably more likely use your rounding effect. But yeah, your kitten effect, a very, very popular effect within the industry. And finally, we're going to do the cat effect, which is my least favourite. I think it does nothing for most eyes. It actually drags the eye downwards. Unless you have a very naturally uplifted eye, this can work, but you also have to have a lot of strength on your outer corner lashes to support the long lengths that need to be used. Now, there is divided opinion on the cat effect, because some people say that the cat effect is very, very long lashes on the outer corner, and some say that you actually use very short lashes on the outer corner but keep the main height here. And then some people say that that effect is actually more like a kitten effect, where you're dropping the length on the outer corner. So again, there's always going to be difference of opinions of the industry, but for me, I personally, the cat effect is what we were taught years ago when we came into the industry, which was short, medium, long. So I personally do not like this effect, but it can work on some clients. And this is where your height would be over here. So if you did your shaping, it would be like that. This does not work on someone like me that has got quite a droopy eye. But as you can see, again, our longest length would be, let's say we're going to go for a 12, and our shortest length would be 7. Now, it is important to keep your short lengths to here. Can you see how short this zone is? It's actually not a lot longer. So really, you're going to be wanting to do something like 12, 11, 10, 9, 8 and 7. We've got to keep the short to here to then the long, so that it is actually that cat effect. If you have your lengths that are quite long, of your 11s and 10s more up here, you're going to get more of like a kitten or a rounding or a dolly effect. You're keeping the height here on the outer corner. I personally do not like this effect. I've only done it a couple of times, and like I said, on most people it doesn't really suit them. It's quite popular still within the industry. I do personally think it's asked for by clients that don't know that it drags the eye downwards, or also applied by lash technicians that were probably trained in these techniques, which, as I was many years ago, I actually used, like I said, 8 here, 10 here and 12 here, and it did nothing for my clients. It just pulled the eye downwards. So yeah, so for me, cat effect is not particularly popular. I don't like it. I prefer the other 3 effects, but I hope it gives you an idea of what it is that you can style your clients on. So if that all seems a little bit too complicated for you, don't forget we have the packs of the eye styling guides here to assist you. We have 14 styles in each pack, so plenty there. I sometimes use these if I'm having a lazy day where I don't really want to be bothered to map. They are not used as a pad, okay? They are used as a sticker that goes over the under eye gel pad, because these are obviously paper stickers and they offer no protection. But great to assist you if you are a new lash artist. They really do help. And if you are somebody like me that sometimes just likes to pull them out and have a go with them, again, they're a really great addition to your lash kit, and they will last forever because there are so many of them in these packs. I will put links again to everything that I've used in this video. So like I said at the start, if you did enjoy this video, please give us a like, please give us a follow, please give us a comment. Let us know that you enjoyed it so that we can keep making content like this that's really going to assist you. And don't forget to check out the Eyelash Excellence shop, where we have lots of very high quality, affordable products that are going to make your lash job so much easier.